I'm Marlowe,
I'm Mimi.
and welcome back to another episode of Marlowe and Mimi. Oh my gosh, this is episode 4, right?
Four of Wands.
And we have the 4 of Wands. Dagnabbit, son of a gun. That's a thing. So today we're talking about cheating.
Yes,
She did a deep sigh.
Yeah.
We're talking about cheating and if it's ever even possible to recover from it.
Inquiring minds want to know.
That's something that look. I'm gonna start off real slow for everybody out there, and I'm gonna ask you, Mimi, what do you define as cheating?
So I think there's a lot of different elements, right? You got your physical, you got your emotional. Those are your two main ones. I say any type of relationship outside of your main relationship that supersedes or makes you hide something is considered cheating to me. If you have to hide it, you're cheating.
So if I got a relationship with Baskin and Robbins,
that's a good one. Maybe with a person.
Okay, just humans. Okay,
I'm thinking just a human.
I'm a single lady to all the men's out there that are potential. I may have a secret relationship with Baskin and Robbins, but we're not going to talk
about that. I don't know.
That's neither here nor there. So just humans.
Unless that's his name. If his name is Mr. Robbins.
I mean, if his mama named him Baskin, well, then they got Carol Baskin.
Baskin and the Robin.
Robin and the if it's his name. Anyway, so physical and emotional. So let me ask you this rebuttal. Not really rebuttal, it's a supplementary question, but who's counting? So, okay, we say physical and we say emotional. So if we were to think about in the context of being in a relationship with a person, would you feel more compelled to break up with a person, right? If it was emotional cheating versus physical. So emotional meaning the person feels something is lacking in the partnership and they get what do they call those? Like a work wife, right? Mm-hmm. So it's someone they're going to lunch together or whatever. It's never been hand holding, kissing, touching, none of that. But it's just because this chick listens to his problems, you don't listen to his problems. And you found out that, Carol, down at the Starbucks, listens to his problems at lunchtime. You know what I'm saying? Would you feel different if you knew that there was a physical relationship with our hypothetical Carol as opposed to emotional?
We did this on our other podcast. What's more damaging, emotional or a physical? And we did actually a poll on the Instagram page, and 100% said emotional was more damaging. And everybody on the podcast said emotional was more damaging because there's a connection that occurs versus the physical. I'm really more in the train of thought of saying they both suck at the same level, and I'm going to have an issue with both of them. It's really hard for me to separate the two because one, you're giving your body, the other one, you're giving your soul. And I know a lot of people are like, well, the soul is probably bigger, but my whole thing is like, you're putting your whole penis into another person and then bringing that nasty, dirty thing back to me. Like,
nasty, dirty thing.
I got a problem with that. And I can't wrap my head around either one.
So sorry to interrupt you guys while you're listening to the show, but I wanted to tell you guys about our new partnership with BetterHelp. If you haven't heard of them, it's an online resource in which you can find your very own friendly local neighborhood therapist, no matter where you are in the world. You sign up, and within 24 hours, they match you with a therapist that's right for you. And you can talk to your counselor every week via phone or video chat. You can also text them between sessions. If you or someone you know has been considering therapy, get started today with BetterHelp. Now let's get back to the show. And see, maybe this is because I'm a double Taurus. Because I don't believe emotional cheating exists. But again, that's probably because I'm a double Taurus. Because I don't understand. Like in my mind, I can't comprehend how you can have an emotional connection with someone enough to call it an emotional connection and not fuck them. I don't understand how that happens. It's like if you're and this is like strictly hypothetical, if you're in a connection with someone and the person that you're with, like, and we're going to say that it started off healthy. So not that you got into a relationship with an emotionally unavailable person, because if you got into a relationship with an emotionally unavailable person and they suddenly became emotionally available for somebody else, that's a problem.
Right.
So we're just going to say that hypothetical man was emotionally available from jump, right? And say that, you guys had, I don't know, 5 kids back to back. I'm being really extra for a reason. You have 5 kids back to back, like both of you get promoted at your jobs, you go back to work, you know what I'm saying? So your entire lives are consumed with your job, your kids, and, small kids. So your relationship gets kind of lost by the wayside. And when it's like, oh, I got promoted at work, you're like, that's great, honey. That's great. Right. So now it's like, oh, she's emotionally unavailable to me. And then Carol, I don't know where Carol comes from, but Carol is listening, and for me, I don't understand. And again, like, I'm not a water sign, and that might be what it is, or I just might be a fucked up human. I don't know, whatever. But I can't see how you could have that emotional connection with someone and not, at some sense or another, want to consummate it, because I feel that's like the natural inclination of humanity. Because I believe you can have a physical connection without an emotional one. Mm-hmm. But I don't know how.
Absolutely.
Yeah. You know what I mean? Because it's like, that's not necessarily a precursor. Like, for you to smash someone, I don't necessarily need to feel anything about you. You know what I'm saying? And saying it like from a dude perspective, some female perspectives, it's like, you don't necessarily need to feel something for that to happen. But I think on the emotional side, that's a lot more intimate. It takes a lot more time. It's connection. It's like you were saying, it's like a soul connection type of thing. Mm-hmm. And I don't know, a person would have to be in a grotesquely, like, narcissistic, emotionally unavailable type of relationship to where you literally feel stifled, to where like your soul has been sucked out of your body, you're bleached, to where just an emotional connection could be enough without it leading to physical. Because I think if you were in a like grotesquely abusive relationship, it's a lot easier to be in just an emotional connection. Does that make sense? Yeah. Without it turning into something physical, because that's like the main thing that's missing, because you feel dehumanized by your partner because they're not recognizing you as a human. But it's like in a typical relationship where you hit a rough patch, it's like, to me, emotional cheating to me is like, y'all probably smashed. You know what I'm saying?
What about the people who try to walk the line? Well, we're not smashing, so I'm not cheating. You know what I'm saying?
Those people,
they don't call it cheating because they're not smashing.
Well, I think, to be honest, I think it's a to each its own kind of thing. Like, I think, like, if we were to talk about core values, right, which is something that I drill home to everybody that's on my network, my women's organization, it's like every single human being needs to know what your core values are, right? It's as important as like the 10 commandments. So I think that there are some people who value like emotional cheating, like you said with your pole. I totally get that, because it's the thought of, if your dude smashed another chick, like he smashed her one time and that's it, right? Like, she can't come back, and hopefully they were very safe and protected and things of the sort. So it's like, he smashed her one time. Yeah, she got to like know what your dude's peen is like, but it's like everyone goes back to life. And like, and I don't necessarily condone that mentality, but I'm thinking about that song, He's Mine,
right? I used to hate that song.
I freaking hate that song.
I hate that song.
But I feel like that's something like a lullaby that someone will tell themselves, is like, yeah, so yeah, he broke out of our relationship, he smashed you, but that's still my husband. That's still
Mm-hmm.
my baby daddy. That's still my dude. Like, he's still paying my bills. He's still coming home to me. So a person can tell themselves that. And if it's like a one-time thing, I mean, cool. But then, I mean, then we have to deconstruct, like, is that really a one-time thing? Like, what caused that in the first place? Like, I mean, he didn't
Right.
slip on a banana peel and fall into her vagina. You know what
Right.
I'm saying? So it's like, it was a
Right.
conscious choice for you to do that. So that's a whole nother ordeal. But I think there's people who kind of walk the line where it's them not, like, it's two reasons. I feel like it's one, it's a value type of thing, because there's some people who will value emotional cheating over
Mm-hmm.
physical because it's that one time thing. But emotional is like, if you think that, like, and me just speaking like singular one person, not confuse people. If you're with a dude and he smashes another chick, it's that one time thing. She just got his penis for however long, he's able to last. Right. But
Right.
if this chick has his heart, that's a whole nother thing. Because
Right.
I think a lot of women think in the context of, at least he loves me. Like, at least I know he's in love with me. Like, you may have smashed him, but at least I know I have his heart, because that's something that would be of value to that particular person. I think that there may be some people out there, y'all let us know in the comments. There may be some people out there who value both equally,
Mm-hmm.
where it's like, you want a person's body and their soul. You know what I'm saying? Like, it sounds so creepy.
Want it all together.
I want it all, right?
Like, I don't want a half. I want everything.
Right.
Everything.
But there's some people who may value one over the other. And I feel like the people who toe the line, you have to look at who they are as a person, to where, is that a value system thing, to where they don't really see, like, physical escapades, if you will, as that big of a deal, because it's like, I love you, I'm with you, like, I take care of you, I provide for you. This is just like some chick I'm smashing, which I don't agree with, by the way. And then there may be some people who look at it like, oh, they value the whole emotional thing more. And it's like their conscious thing of like, this person is giving me emotional, reciprocity that you're not giving me. So I think it depends on the individual. But
yeah,
my first inclination to people who toe the line, I feel, are people who are trying to probably get out of a situation that they found themselves in. It's like, yeah, I smashed her, but I love you, girl. That's kind of like my first inclination on that. But I got to be fair and give everybody representation.
But do we have to be fair? I guess
we really don't. You know what I'm saying?
I'm like, if you want to do that, just get out of the relationship. Like, why bring somebody else into your mess? Just
because people like to have
I
the
want to
cake and eat
smash
it
other
too.
people. Yeah,
but they're not gonna say that, because if a dude told you that, then you're not gonna want to be with him no more. So why would I tell you that I want to smash other broads and you gonna leave and I want you to stay?
Well, if you're up front in the beginning and say, this is all this is going to be, then there was no expectation.
Well, I mean, see, that's different, because see, if you are, what they call them nowadays, sneaky links, I think they call them
sneaky links.
I feel like we need to make an audio thing for that. Sneaky links. I think with stuff like that, like, if you just want to be smash buddies, that's totally different. But putting my therapist hat on, I've come across lots of people where they actually want to be in a committed relationship with someone and have that freedom to smash people outside of their committed relationship, but they know the person they're with would never go for that. And it's like, and then they have too much respect for the person to even say that out loud to them, because they know that they would not be okay with that. And they 9 times out of 10 would leave. So, and I think that's when it gets into that crazy gray area, because you think, like, if you're with a person, and the context I feel that gets women into like a tizzy is literally the fact that when you're in connection with someone, you think you're supposed to be enough. Like, that's the perception. Like, I should be enough for you. Like, I should be fun enough for you, pretty enough for you, sexy enough for you, like fuckable enough for you. You know what I mean? Entertaining enough, like whatever it is that a dude needs. Like, we're conditioned to go into a connection with that perspective. Right. So if ever a guy goes outside of us for something specifically, like
the
cheating,
audacity.
yes,
The audacity.
with the damn audacity. Now we start measuring ourselves up of like, was I not enough? Did I not have sex with you enough? Was it not good enough? You know what I mean? And a lot of times it may not even be that, you know?
Right.
And 9 times out of 10, it usually has a lot to do with the dude, because I think that's where it goes into like really deconstructing like the mindset behind a person who cheats. And I think there's like, if I were to reduce everything down to like 2, I think there's 2 different types of cheaters. I think you have, you have your habitual cheaters, which are people who are just infidels. You know what I'm saying? That's a new word I made up. I mean, I didn't make up the word infidel, but for a person who, you know, can't be faithful, I think an infidel would be a proper word.
That works.
You know what I'm saying? Synonyms.
Add it to the lexicon.
Synonyms. But I feel like the little infidel, there's people who just cannot commit. Now, my perspective on this, even though I know there's lots of people out there who will beg to differ, my perspective on this is that typically this is a person who suffers with low self-esteem. A person who's like hoeing, it's like you can say, oh, I just love sex so much, I just like smashing all the time. I have a sex addiction. You could call it that if you want to, but it's a sense of validation that you get. Or if it falls onto the addiction side of it, it's a physical sensation you're chasing. And if it wasn't sex, it would just be something else. It would be alcohol. It would be drugs. You know what I'm saying? It would be something, because you're chasing a feeling, right? So that's an addictive behavior. But what falls beneath that is a sense of a low sense of self-worth. That's like a person wanting you gives you like a high, in a sense. So those are the people who are like habitual cheaters, right? Where it's like, no matter what you do, you just can't keep your peeing in your pants. You can't keep the JJ in your pants. You know what I'm saying? Now, on the other side of that, I feel that there's people, and there's 2 different kinds of people who fall into that. There's people who feel that they're missing something in their partnership that they've tried to vindicate or eradicate, that they can't seem to get back, right? And they go to another source to get it, which kind of doesn't make sense, which makes them teeter over into the other side, which would be that vengeful, vindictive partner, which still teeters over to the first group, because it's like, I feel invalidated because my partner isn't connecting with me. My partner doesn't want to sleep with me, you know, or my partner isn't emotionally available. And I feel like kind of deep down inside, maybe even subconsciously, there's this thought of, if I step out of this relationship and get this need met and they were to find out, then maybe they would behave properly. You know what I'm saying? To where they could give me what it is that I'm looking for. You know what I'm saying?
Or we will all be starring episode on the next 48.
Snapped.
I'm just saying. Some people you don't want to mess with.
Dude, legit. But I literally think like that's the other side of stuff. It's like, it's a person who feels that they're not getting what it is that they're needing. They're trying to get their needs met. They're trying to get themselves validated. They want to know that they're still attractive, that they're still desirable. I literally had a man, several men actually, tell me this today, where I was like, oh, that's interesting. It's like I was talking about something and they were like, yeah, all you got to do is give a woman a little bit of attention. You just give her a little bit of attention and it's whatever you want. She just wants a little bit of attention. And I'm like,
that's sad. That makes me sad.
Right? And I was like, seriously? And they were like, yeah, you know, not all women, but it's like, you know, some women are, you know, they're just in a place in their life where they're just so lonely and no one pays them any mind. And they were actually talking about, if we can be cool and pop culture-ish for once in our lives, this literally was related to that correction officer that, you know,
the one in Alabama,
y'all, that broke the dude out of jail and whatnot. And and like a lot of like women were like, you know, like, why would you, like, you were about to retire with full benefits, and the dudes were like, it's just a little bit of attention. It's like, if it's a woman who has never been recognized, has never been made to feel special, if you give her a little bit of attention, it's like she's all over it. It's like that's currency to her. And
Yep.
I was like,
I can see that.
that's kind of gross.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I look at that for people who kind of fall into that perspective of like if you think about a guy who's a habitual cheater, I think a dude like that would scope out a woman like that as a potential cheating partner. And that's when they bash their wives and it's like, oh, I'm just so unhappy we sleep in 2 different rooms and she doesn't love me. And it's a whole manipulation tactic, you know? But then on the other side of things, it's like it's people who are just like, I don't know. I would say on both sides, both groups to me are extremely immature because it's
I would
people,
agree.
yeah, because they don't know how to communicate what it is that, you know, they want. You know what I'm saying? And there's even some people who are afraid to admit what they want. I mean, if you're a goddamn sexual deviant, then embrace that shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you have a sexual addiction, which by the way, the DSM-5 does not have anything in it called a sexual addiction, and no one in the mental health field believes that that is a true thing. It's not a real diagnosis. So if you ever had someone tell you, it's not real. So if anyone ever told you, you know, I have a sexual addiction, that we don't have that. That's not a thing. You know what I'm saying? So that's not the case here, you know? But I mean, if that's the case, it's like, I understand what you're totally saying. Like when you're like, oh yeah, you should totally say it up front. Like you should say this is the case. But I know how people maneuver. They're not. I see that face you made.
I thought I turned my notifications off.
Is that tea?
No.
Never mind. Was like, we conjure the devil.
I know, right? No tea here. I've been kicked to the curb for the rest of the day.
Girl, look, my phone is on dry, girl. But no, man, but that's legit how I think about it. So do you feel that one or the other is a deal breaker for you? Like if you were to think about emotional cheating, if you were to think about physical cheating, so we're thinking your hypothetical partner that you love so much. If you found out that he did either, would you be more likely to leave him for one or the other? Or would it just be both for you?
That's a really hard question, Marlowe. Before current circumstances, I would say both. It's out the door. And that's because the whole trust thing, like, how long is it going to take before you do the emotional cheating before it turns physical? And physical, I don't know. I just never was in a situation where I took somebody back after that happened. But now it's like, I don't know. I think it really, I'm having challenges in that area to say, okay, if you forgive, you can forgive people and love them from afar. Like, I forgive you. I love you for who you are, but just not with me.
Right.
And is there ever a more suitable reason to cheat?
No.
Like, oh, I like that chick over there and I'm just gonna smash her, or I'm not feeling good about myself and I need somebody to make me feel good about myself and I don't want to. I don't know. I would want to say yes. You're out the door for both of them. I would want to say that.
Yeah, because I think those are both shit excuses. Like, I mean, that
right.
It doesn't that like the only thing I could say, because you know I try to be fair with things. Like the only thing I could say with that is like time frame of a relationship type of deal. And that's a very thin line. It's kind of like if a dude that you're dating, well, I can't even say a dude that you're dating. You meet a dude and the dude is still very much involved with like his baby mama, right? And you didn't know. Okay. And like y'all are in your talking phase and y'all are like together or whatever, but it hasn't been that long. And then you find out like he smashed his baby mama and y'all been talking for like 2 weeks. Like something like that. It's like, is that really cheating? Like those are the things where I'm kind of like, all right, like thinking about it from that perspective, it's like, I mean, it's been 2 weeks. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? You know
Yeah.
what I mean? So not 2 weeks y'all been official, but I mean, it's literally been 14 days. You know what I'm
Like I
saying?
literally don't know what you are
Right.
in a whole month cycle. I don't know.
Exactly. No 90 days, no nothing. 14 days. You
Mm-mm.
know, something like that. I'm just like, can we really call that cheating? Or if like people were dating, and this is something that I hear from like my young people clients, like my little 20 something college students and stuff. It's like when you're in the talking phase and it's like the guy sleeps with someone, it's like, well, I mean, y'all weren't really in a relationship. And I mean, if you're still dating, you can still see other people when you're dating. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? So it's like stuff like that. But I think like what has to be defined, which is why like I use that terminology. Like I'm always like hell bent on calling it dating. Like when you're dating, you have every right to see other people because you're not in a commitment, you're not in a relationship. So that's like when you're in that I don't go to your house, you don't go to my house, we're not sleeping together. Like
Mm-hmm.
we're just going out to public places, having coffee, having lunch, like talking to each other, getting to know each other, trying to decide if we want this to be something, right? But the second that we're like, you're my boyfriend, you're my girlfriend, that's when it's cheating. Now, where this generation is fucking everything up for everybody. Jesus
Mm-hmm.
Christ in America. So sorry to interrupt you guys while you're listening to the show, but I wanted to tell you guys about our new partnership with BetterHelp. If you haven't heard of them, it's an online resource in which you can find your very own friendly local neighborhood therapist, no matter where you are in the world. You sign up, and within 24 hours, they match you with a therapist that's right for you. And you can talk to your counselor every week via phone or video chat. You can also text them between sessions. If you or someone you know has been considering therapy, get started today with BetterHelp. Now let's get back to the show.
Yeah, and this point in my life, I don't think there was an experience that I've had up to this point where I would be like, I understand.
Oh, I can't even imagine such a
I
thing.
understand.
Like, oh, I get it.
I saw her. I would do the same thing.
I like if it was me, she
I would have smashed.
she busted open like that.
I
I'd have
mean,
been like, get it.
you would be a fool not to.
Right? So is there coming back from that? Or do you feel that it's a done deal, regardless if you're in a, we can't say situationship, but if you're in a relationship that's not within the confines of like, you know, a new type of, dalliance, if you will. It's like if you've, gotten to know each other, you're committed, everyone knows you're committed. Like I was gonna say, I miss the days when people put that they were in relationships on Facebook because I feel like the age that we're in now, there's people who are in seriously committed relationships that have been in seriously committed relationships for years, like live together. But if you look at their social media, it's like you would never know they were with someone, and their, relationship status on Facebook, if they're still on Facebook, they just don't have it posted. And I don't really understand how that works. I know that that's like a tactic that some dudes will use of just like, oh, well, why you gotta be all that with the titles and all, and I just feel like that's bullshit. Like I feel like just to keep the peace down, if two people are together, you should just be together. Like,
Just
should
be
you
together?
Yeah, should you meet someone like tomorrow and have them all over your social media? No. But I mean, if you've been together for some time to where it's an established relationship with everyone that knows you, but it's like you're not on social media. And I know people have their way about social media of just like, oh, it's the internet. I still feel like that's bullshit because the internet is very much a part of our lives now. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, just like how in public before we had social media, or like a wedding ring, you know what I'm saying? If you don't wear your wedding ring and you're married, people gonna look at you side eye. Like, why you don't have your wedding ring on? You know what I'm saying? Or if you're in a relationship and you out here acting single, that's a whole nother thing. That's to me what social media is.
Oh, I'm about to give you some, and it might be my Aquarius and Venus, my Venus and Aquarius, but I never had my relationship status on any social media platform, even when I was married. I didn't wear a wedding ring for, I can't remember how long.
Girl, what?
And I still wouldn't put my relationship status. It's on there now as single as a joke.
What?
And when I was younger, I never did titles either. So I'm definitely thinking it's my Venus
Girl, look,
placement of Aquarian. But I will be straight up and honest with not having titles. It allows you to have that freedom to do whatever you want
I
because
don't like
we're
that.
not together.
I don't like
We're
that.
not together. And the most current situation where there was a cheating,
Mm-hmm.
if dude was just straight up and said we were not in a relationship and I was like, cool, no titles here, it wouldn't been a big deal. But
Uh-huh.
you wanted a title. So
That's what I'm saying. Like, because I mean,
you wanted the title. I didn't
so is
care.
it just supposed to be like, so I'm asking a question. Now we being controversial because we do not agree. so so if you have a title with somebody, this is like an agreement between you and a person. So like, so if you're with a dude, right? And a dude is like, you my girlfriend, you like, yeah, you my boyfriend. But don't nobody else know that but y'all. Y'all in a relationship still? I can't fool with that though.
Because I feel it's something that has to be between you and the other person. I could care less what other people think.
That's
I
probably why I
need
still believe
you
in
to
marriage.
be.
I said that's probably why I still believe in marriage.
And I'm like, it's a piece of freaking paper. If the
And see,
person
I
you're
look at
with,
it as you making the announcement, just like your debutante ball. And it's
I'll
like
see.
you're a debutante. Well, I'm Southern. Damn it. You know what I'm saying? Like you do your debutantes because it's a statement to the social world that you're available and ready to marry. And I look
That's
at a
hilarious.
wedding as the same way. It's like it's a statement to the world that you're married. It's like a whole ritual that you do in front of everyone as a statement that we're together. And it's like, even though you can have this verbal agreement of saying that, you know what I mean? And
I
I don't
don't think
know.
it should be a verbal agreement. It needs to be an emotional soul type of agreement between two people. I got married on a beach and I purposely made it where people couldn't find us because I didn't want. For me, the wedding is a show for everybody else. You have people who do the show and then they're divorced within the same year and you got hella bills to pay. I'm like, dude, we ain't got to
That's
do
why
all
you
that.
got to get the right person, that of which I did not do because I'm divorced.
Apparently, me neither. Apparently, me neither.
But I think, dude, like, I don't know. Maybe I
Maybe it's
think,
a Taurus.
yeah, dude, that's my,
What's your Venus placement?
it's in Gemini, girl. So I get bored easy.
And I'm an
I get
Aquarius
bored
Venus,
easy,
so
but like,
I could care
commit
less
to
about
me.
anything.
I might get bored, but commit to me though. You know
Yeah,
what I'm
and
saying?
my Aquarius over here is like, dude, if you don't want the title and the responsibility with the title, then don't give us one and
That's
let us
why,
do what we do.
girl, that's so scary to me. I'm so protective over my everything. Like, girl, I'm such a Taurus in real life. Like, I'm so protective over my everything to where like I look at I look at me like, okay, if you think about like the Egyptian like pyramids, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you know how they had like all of these like mazes
Mm-hmm.
like to hide like the pharaoh's body and like all of the, like jewels and everything. I feel like me in relationships, it's like a pyramid where it's like you can get like a little bit, like you could go into one of those mazes and feel like you hit like, the thing, but then you're going to be like, wait, pharaoh body not here. You
Right.
know what I'm saying? And then you're going to go through all the other pathways and, you might fall to your death. You know what I'm saying? But then if you go down the right pathway, you might actually find where pharaoh's body is with all the good stuff, the chariots, all the cats, the servants that got killed and mummified too, all that, all the good
Right.
things, right? But it's like, I feel like in order for me to open up into the storehouse, like there has to be some sense of investment. And my concept of investment, and I have to clarify this too, my concept of investment is a commitment. It's like a title to where I'm like your woman. Everyone knows I'm your woman. It's very clear that we're together. Like people who know me, people who know you know that we're together. And then that's like the key that unlocks the door. But it's not just that, because it also comes with you as a person. Like, what are you showing me? So a lot like what you were saying, it's like if this person has this emotional connection with you and they're showing you and they're behaving in accordance with what a relationship is, like the back end of it, I want like the back end and the front end. But it's like, if I don't have the front end, it kind of makes the back end like, what are we really doing? Because I'm totally exposing myself. I don't give a shit.
Let's go.
That's where my suspicion comes in. It's like, my thing is like, if you were really serious about me and you really cared about me, loved me, and really wanted to be with me, it's like, why? And it's like, and it's not a thing of like, oh, we're just seeing where this goes. Like, if you're 110% sure that you want this, it's like, why are you so afraid to tell people that we're together though?
I think for me, it's not necessarily being afraid to tell people. If people know and find out, that's cool, but I'm not going to be running around here. This is my man. Like, I know he's my man. He knows he's my man. We're not going to be wearing the matching t-shirts and whatnot, but you need to act accordingly. Right. And when you don't act accordingly, it's a wrap.
Because I feel
so I'm just not big into like, and it might be like my Scorpio North node, but I'm just really private about stuff. And it's like, as long as we both know and we act accordingly, I could care less what everybody else thinks.
I just worry.
But if we're acting accordingly, it's going to be obvious.
Right. I think my only concern with that is the fact of like thinking about how it, if I were to say this in the context of it, like how a woman would respond to that. It's like, and this is me literally, I'm not saying specifically that my therapist hat is on, but all the hats that I wear are on. So no one knows which hat I'm speaking from. But it's like, if I were to think about things I've encountered in my lifespan and things I've heard women say in reference to dudes, it's like, granted, I'm 100% positive that there could be loyal men out there where they're not on social media, because I do think that's a little too much. Like, people with the relationship Instagrams and YouTube channels, like, bitch, you doing too much. Like, calm down. You know what I'm saying? Like, ain't nobody that happy too much. With you matching goddamn pajamas for Christmas and shit. Like, what you doing?
We get it.
Yeah, like that. Like, okay, you know, that's a little much. But I mean, just like simple kind of stuff. But if I feel like if a dude, like if you look at his IG and he is single, like, I mean, looking at it, it's like there's no other chick, like there's no nothing, right? It's like, oh, okay, he's single. So if a chick like shoots or shot at him, bang, bang, and then, you know, finds out later on that he's in a relationship, the thought is like, oh, and this is because of the, I'm not going to speak on it directly, but the climate that we live in now, you know, it's the thought of, oh, well, she's not the right kind of woman, or she's not, you know, submissive. She's not, you know, whatever. Because if she was the right kind of woman, then he would be proud to have her at his side. So that bleeds into the distorted, destructive, dysfunctional competition that women have between each other, where, and that's a whole psychological thing, where women have a tendency to be more attracted to men that are committed because it shows that they're committal. But if he cheats with you, that means that he's not faithful, but you attracted to him because he's faithful because he's in a relationship. You know what I'm saying? It's like a mental distortion. Yeah. But that's why a lot of women are attracted to married men and men in relationships, because them being married or in a relationship shows to them that it's possible that he can commit, but they're not thinking about on the back end, if he cheats with you, that he's not committed. But the reason why women go into relationships like that is because of the competition that women have with each other that's been ingrained in us since children. Of, if you win a dude over, I prove myself to him. I show him that I'm amazing and that I'm awesome and I can cook, and oh, she doesn't cook, and like, oh my God, I'll love your kids, like all of the things, right? And the thing is, the dude ends up in a position to where he gets the best of both worlds. His wife or his girlfriend or baby mama, whatever, could not be a terrible person at all. She may have quirks and flaws just like every other person, but it's just the fact that he gets to sit back and eat it, like have his cake and eat it too, or eat his cake and have it too. Because there's this woman who's competing with this woman that she doesn't even know, trying to prove that she's better. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's like the whole vortex that we end up getting caught into. And once again, it still goes back to a loyalty thing, because I think on both sides, like whether you're like in my camp where I prefer to have an open commitment and for people to know that we're together. And my segue to that is, or my caveat, if you will, I would not want that unless I was sure about you. Right. Do you exist until I'm sure about you? Because you ain't about to embarrass my ass. You understand? right?
Right.
But I think whether you're in my camp or you're in yours, where it's like you keep it more low key, and if people find out, that's cool. It's like on both sides. It doesn't matter if you're openly committed or you're behind the scenes committed. It comes back to the loyalty of a person, of if a woman were to approach this guy, if he would stay loyal. Because
That's the key.
yeah,
Right.
that's really the
Right.
key. It's like,
Right.
are you loyal? You know what I mean? If the shoe was on the
Right.
other foot, would you want that done to you? 99.9% of men would not.
Exactly.
Women are more likely to stay in a marriage with a man that's cheated on them than men are. Because the moment that a man finds out that it's like, and this is just statistics here, but a man will have it in the back of his mind, but still stay with you if there's an emotional cheating, right? Mm-hmm. It will mess with their self-esteem. They may step out and cheat too. They may just self-loathe. Y'all may be able to move past it. But if you physically have sex with another man, that's something that men have a very difficult time coming back from. But women are more likely to stick with it. Because I think it goes back to what I said in the beginning. It's like, you may have had him once, but I got him all the time.
But what if it's more than once?
Oh my gosh, then what are you doing?
What are you? I mean,
what the fuck are you doing? If it's more than once, if it's one time, that's too much. Because for me, that's right. A deal breaker. Like, because I haven't even said like my piece on it. Like, to me, I hate to say as a therapist, but as a therapist, as a woman, like as a psychic, like whatever the fuck, like cheating to me, like you just can't fucking that.
How do you come back from that?
You can't fucking come back from that. Like that is my final answer. If I had like, what are the little things that judges have? Hit a little hammer, I would hit it right now. Like legit. Like I don't feel you can come back from that. And I feel the only way that you can, it kind of piggybacks on what I was saying before. It depends on where you were in your relationship at the time. Like if there was a guy I dated when I was like in my 20s, you know what I mean? And we were dating when we were in our 20s and like, you know, we're seeing other people, we're seeing each other and like he cheated on me. And then like in my 40s, he's back on some stuff. It's like, you're divorced, I'm divorced, and we cross paths again. Would I hold that again? No.
Right.
It depends on who you are as a person now. You know what I'm saying? Like I can't hold it. Like you have to look at like that thing. But if you're in a commitment with someone, or God forbid, if you're in a serious commitment for years, you're engaged, you're married, even if it's one time, that's one time too many. And I don't know how you can come back from that because it's a betrayal. Like that's the word for it. You know what I'm saying? It's like you're opening yourself up fully to this person. And even if we were to get into the etheric, energetic stuff, like you started a whole nother energetic cord with another person, which is why I don't understand why people just be booping bopping around here and just fucking everybody and their mama. Right. I don't understand that. Because you got a whole spider web of energetic cords. And it's like, what are you doing? You know what I'm saying?
It's nasty.
It is, dude. And it's like, and I say not even like nasty. It's nasty as fuck in a physical sense. If you ain't protecting yourself, my God. But in an etheric sense, dog, it's just like, that means like you don't fuck with yourself. And if you don't fuck with yourself, like, why would I want to fuck with somebody who don't fuck with themselves? Like, you don't even love and respect yourself like enough. You know what I'm saying? And that's what I feel like it goes back to what you were saying before. It's like, you're not a stand-up dude enough to be honest. Now, I get it, playing devil's advocate of why a person would be like a fucking asshole would be the proper term for it, of not being honest with you. It's like, dog, you can't try to cheat the system and have the best of both worlds. Like, you can't have like a bomb-ass chick who's monogamous with you and isn't out here smashing other dudes, and you get to go out and smash other broads just because you know that she trusts you. Like, that shit gonna come back and bite you in the ass.
It's gonna come back.
It will. Like, you're gonna have to pay the piper eventually. You know what I'm saying? But I don't really feel like you can come back from it, dude. Like, that's legit my personal opinion. Like, there's people out here who think that they have, and I've met a lot of people who have had cheating in their relationships, but the thing that I see in those partnerships is a level of, and I can say on both sides, whether it's the man or the woman, it's a level of the person desensitizing themselves. It's a level of you having to call it forgiveness and you numbing out a whole facet of who you are and how you are, thinking, and usually it's something tied to something spiritual or religious. It's like, if I really was, this or that, like I would be able to forgive, but there's still something that's seething inside of you and you're feeling less than of a person because you can't seem to forgive. But I feel like that's something for majority of people that's completely unforgivable. And like, and this is just my personal opinion. I've met people who have told me, oh, my husband, my wife have cheated on me. We worked through it. Da, 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 da. And it's what I see in this person's spirit is like, bitch, you lying. You're lying to me and you're lying to your damn self. And it's worse that you're lying to yourself than lying to me. Because it's like, who wants to live like that? It's like, that's one of those things where it's like a scarlet letter. I feel like cheating in a relationship is like a scarlet letter on the person who was cheated on. But everyone is telling you, you need to be the bigger person and you need to forgive. And you made vows and you made a commitment, and people make mistakes. But you don't understand the complexities of human behavior or healing, a person's self-concept, that person's background, where you can't just snap your fingers and expect this person to change. But I also don't think it's right. And we touched on this on your podcast before. I don't think it's right to say, oh, I forgive you. And you go back with the person and then you punish that person and make them pay
over and over again. Right.
For what they did. So I feel like it's a level of self-honesty we need to have with ourselves on if you can handle it. And I can say flat out, me, I can't handle it. Somebody call me weak. They call me bitter. You call me whatever. But my thing is like how you said, 48 hours, child, we're going to be on snaps. If I stay with you, look, you know what I'm saying? I'm going to be known as something else. And it ain't going to be the woke therapist. You understand what I'm saying? It's not going to work. It's not going to work.
I'll make you famous.
Yeah, real talk. For the worst reasons. I'm just saying.
For the worst reasons. Infamous.
Real talk. Like, I'll let you go because I don't think you can come back from that, dude. And I think people who think that they can, and that's why I say my caveat is unless it was so early in the connection to where it really wasn't anything. But then you would have to ask yourself if this is habitual for this person, the person they were with before you. Did they cheat with that person? Right. You know what I mean? Is this something that they've done all the time when they get upset in a relationship? Is how they cope with things? They just go step out with someone. You know what I mean? So it's a lot of variables that you have to look at. But I feel overall, dude, you just can't.
And would that person be a better fit for an open or a poly relationship if you know you can't stop doing it?
If they're not an asshole. If they're not a person who's like a manipulative kind of asshole, like borderlining and teetering on like sadistic, because I feel like there's sadistic traits that exist in people who want to have the wholesome good girl at home and want to fuck a bunch of bitches.
Right.
Like that's a whole pathology where they don't want to be in a polyamorous relationship or an open relationship, or like majority of men, which I think is very unfair, by the way, men who are listening. Dudes always talk about open relationships, but what they mean by open relationship is bringing another woman in. But it's never another
man.
That's
never
not fair.
Another man.
That's not fair.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? That's very unfair. So I feel people who are like that particular pathology, they wouldn't be okay with polyamorous or an open relationship because they thrive off and get their rocks off on the fact that they have this demure, innocent,
no
submissive.
pun intended.
All right. Get the wrong pun. They
Such
have
an
this
intended pun.
It was very intended. They have this special little person at home that's like just sweet and innocent that they know is just for them, and they could be out here doing like whatever. But I say it's the same thing with females because I can't say the same thing for dudes. I've had women tell me throughout the course of my life, it's like they will thrive off of the fact that they have like what the manosphere would call like a simp dude, quote unquote, little beta male at home, mopping, washing dishes, you know what I'm saying, taking care of kids and things. She's going out smashing the world and likes the fact that she can come home and he's like waiting on her hand and foot. And that's like an ego boost. So that's a person who's like a fucking asshole. You know what I'm saying? I'm not even going to use the narcissist word. You know what I'm saying? It's like they're a fucking asshole. You know what I'm saying? And this is a person who has issues within themselves where they need to get an ego boost by, oppressing one person and uplifting themselves through other people. But whether it's the person at home with them or all the people that they use, they're using both people. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So I think that's
Right.
a whole separate like pathology. But like, I think it takes a lot of courage for a person to be polyamorous, in my personal opinion. Like, I feel like you have to be very secure within yourself. You have to be very non-attached. You know what I'm saying? And the proper way, from what I've learned from people who are polyamorous, is that there's open communication. You're very clear of the fact that you're polyamorous. Everyone that's in the relationship knows each other. And that is what it is. Like, there's no secrets, there's no hiding. You're able to say, like, oh, I'm going on a date with such and such. And it's like, oh, cool, have fun. Because, tomorrow I'm going with such and such. And it's not a big deal. And it's like, to me, I feel like a situation like that would be ideal if everyone is in agreement. But when you're in a polyamorous relationship by your damn self and none of the people that you mess with, no, that's a whole nother idea. You know what I'm saying?
That's not the same thing.
It's a totally different thing. And I wish people would be more forthcoming. I think, like, with all of this, dude, like, my desire would be for people to be more forthcoming and more honest of what it is that they're wanting and what they're desiring out of partnerships. And people who don't jive with that would have the courage to leave. Like, a woman whose, fiance, boyfriend, husband says he wants to be in an open relationship and wants to bring other people in. If that's not your stilo, then let that not be your stilo. You know what I mean? Like, don't feel like, oh, a good girl, wife, whatever, would do this because he wants this, because it's like, you're not asking yourself what you want. But I think if more people who were of like mind came together, if the sadist stayed with the sadist and the sexual deviant stayed with the sexual deviants, we'd actually be getting somewhere. The cheaters stayed with the cheaters. You know what I'm saying?
Cheaters stayed with the cheaters, right?
It would work better. But for some people, it's no fun. Like, they want that thrill of cheating. So
what's that song? It's no fun if the homies can't have none.
Right. Like, you have to know the pathology of the person, dog. You really do. You really do. And that's the thing I think is so scary. So my question for you, have you ever been cheated on?
Yep.
Very direct question. Oh.
I've been cheated on 3 times.
By the same person or different people?
No, all different people.
Okay. And you broke up with all of them?
Well, the last one broke up with me, but I didn't know he cheated. I know. He told me after the fact. That's why he broke up with me.
Humans.
The other 2 I found out. Yeah, and those relationships came to an end.
Did you find out from your gifts, or did you find out via human means?
All human. The first one, I found the condom. I knew it wasn't mine. The second one, his fiance contacted me at work.
I know you lying.
And the third one, his guilty conscience brought it up to the surface, even though we've been broken up for almost a year. So he felt he just had to clear his. I don't know. But they weren't in close sequence. Like, one was in college. I was like 19. The second one, I was in the Air Force, so I was around 22. And then the most recent one was recent.
Child, look. Shoot, if we going all the way back to college, I can tell you about the one dude I dated in college that I give so much respect, even though he a hoe. Still to this day, and I'm not going to say his name. But this gentleman, I dated him in college, and he broke up with me because he told me he was a hoe. He said, yeah. Like, he literally told me, he said, I know the type of girl that you are, and I know that you would want me to just be with you, and I tried. But he's like, there's been several times that I could have cheated on you, and I did not want to cheat on you. But he's like, I'm telling you now, like, if we stay together, I'm going to cheat on you, and I think you deserve better. And he broke up with me. And I was like, this is the best goddamn breakup. So still to this day, like, I'm not going to give any descriptive factors because I don't want people to know who this gentleman is. But literally in New Orleans, if I did say his name, so many women would know who this gentleman is, and none of them have anything positive to say about him. I am probably the only person that has something positive to say, because I was like, well, goddamn. Right. So that's the best experience of someone telling me I am a habitual cheater. I can't stop smashing hoes. So you deserve better.
So would that be somebody who needs to be in an open or poly or an open relationship then?
I think he would do better in an open relationship.
Mm-hmm.
I think he would, because I mean, even to this day, he's still single. Like he just, it's like commitment for him is just like, that's not his vibe. It's like, it's suffocating to him. And I mean, I get it. And I think someone like that would feel more open, because I feel like with an open relationship or like a poly relationship, you have that human connection comfort of you having like in an open relationship that's someone like, so if you're like married or in a relationship, it's like you and this person are like a unit, and then you bring other people in, right? And then if you're poly, it's like no one is committed to each other, but it's like we're together, but we're together as a unit. You know what I mean? So you're working like a system almost, you know? And I think depending on like, you know, your ways to go, like for some people that just works better because it prevents people from getting hurt. Like, and that's where I feel like that honesty comes in. It's like people get hurt when people are dishonest. And I feel people are dishonest because there's a level of shame or guilt or condemnation that comes with us being who it is that we are. So I feel like as opposed to you pretending to be something that you're not, like, just be real. Take the chance, because you never know. You know what I'm saying? Like there might be someone who's teetering on the fence of being poly. You might want to be poly. And if you told them that, they'd be like, God damn it, I was thinking the same thing and I was scared to tell you.
Now let's go find our third person.
Right. Let's go find our fifth person, sixth person. You know what I'm saying? Like it could work out. I can't. Like that's why I say
one dude is annoying enough for me. One dude, like, why would I want to add more dudes to the mix?
I just want one dude. I just want one dude that I can spider monkey. Let me spider monkey you. You know what I'm saying?
Those are her words.
Yes, I said that. I'm gonna be like, hey, babe. Hey, babe. You know what I mean? Like, I'm so okay with that. I'm okay with putting all of my, because I don't like change. I'm a Taurus. I don't like all that. Like, I don't need all the differentness. Like, I just want a person that rides for me, that fools with me, and I fool with them. We looking out for each other, and it's just us together.
It's rather simple, right? It's not rocket science.
It's really not that complicated. I don't know why people are making relationships so complicated now, dog. My other time I was cheated on for real, though. I was cheated on in one of my relationships. It was probably the most serious relationship of my life. But I ended up finding out through my gifts, because I had a dream of who, and this was in the age of MySpace, ladies and gentlemen. The young people not gonna know what that is. But it's like my dream. I saw it on MySpace. Like I saw the girl, I saw the message that she wrote. And prior to that, I had no inclination I was being cheated on, like none whatsoever. Like he came home at the right time. Like there was no suspicious activity. You know, I've never really been a person to go through people's phones, because I just feel like that's too much. Like, and that may be something like kind of how I say, like, I look at it as sus if people aren't openly in a relationship, like telling people they're together. There's people who think that it's sus that I don't agree with people going through each other's phones. Like, I don't believe that when you're married to someone that you should have all the passwords to each other's accounts or the passwords to each other's phones, because it's like, I mean, what are you like?
You should have some autonomy.
You know what I'm saying? It's like, yeah, because I look at like, dude, you like you're two individual humans coming into a partnership, and you have to have something sacred. Like, I mean, are you going to poop with the door open now? Is that what we're doing? You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah. And now you know there's some people doing that.
Yeah, that's a little much. You got to have something that's sacred for yourself, God dog it. But that goes back into the trust and loyalty thing. It's like, you can't have no codes and no shared passwords if you don't have trust and loyalty in a relationship. And I feel like if we were to just bring it back to just trust, if there's no trust in a partnership, which is why I feel that there's no goesies backsies after cheating, is because once that trust is broken, trust has to be built back. And I feel
Mhm.
there's already predispositions in the connection that are preventing that trust from being built back. And without
Mm.
trust, what is really a relationship? Like without trust or mutual respect. And
Right.
you lose like respect for that person because you didn't respect yourself and you didn't respect me. You didn't respect that other
Right.
person. You know what I mean? Of thinking about what their situation is or what, lies you told them or whatever the case. You know what I'm saying? So I feel it all goes back to that, dude. Like it has to be like a trust thing. So man, I think we're literally like on the same page with this.
Mhm.
So last question would be before we wrap up, do you feel that people can change?
I feel people can change if they want to, and it has to come from them, not an individual or outside source. Like somebody changing because somebody wants me to change. It has to be like, you know what? I'm a garbage human. I'm just going way out there, but I'm a
Right,
garbage
right.
human, and I need to make some changes
Mm-hmm.
because my life isn't the way it needs to be or should be or how I want it to be. And only then I think you can make changes. Because I can say for me, I'm not the same person I was 10 years from now ago.
Right.
I made changes. So if you met me 15, 20 years back, you wouldn't get the same experience. But it had to come from me, not an outside source.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So I think that's the only way it could happen if it's like, I need to do it for me, not somebody telling me I have to do it.
How do you know that a person changed though?
That's the question.
Mm-hmm. It would have to be time, wouldn't it? Yeah, yeah. That's the thing.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and this is the question I ask you as I'm asking myself. It's like, how do you know that a person really changed when you're not a therapist? Like, because I make my clients fill out surveys at the top of every session that I transport to a line graph.
Mm-hmm.
And if a person wanted to know if their mood has changed since they started therapy, I can literally show them a line graph that shows them how their mood has increased since they started.
Mm-hmm.
But you ain't gonna do that with your partner. You ain't gonna be like, babe, how was your day? Go ahead,
Come
fill
on,
out this little
let's see.
form right here. Just, on a 1 to 10, how was your week? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, you
Complete the
can't do
survey at
that.
the end.
Right. So it's like the only way you could really truly know if a person changed is if you take a chance. It's like,
Right.
yeah. So if a person cheated and they came back and, they were sorry, this and that, maybe y'all got a little couples therapy or something, you know what I'm saying? You ironed out what got, you guys to this point, you guys got some individual therapy, you get back together. It's like, even after that point, it would take you to step out on faith and trust that they're not going to do it again. And the only way you would know is time.
Right.
And the issue that happens there is people are just like, I want to jump off the cliff. However, like, is this harness tight on me? Did you check the rope?
Mm-hmm.
Is there the little trampoline at the bottom just in case? And that's like that checking,
Right.
checking, checking, checking. And that's what the partner who could have had a little dalliance, can get irritated by, which is, why I stand by. I just really don't think that there's no
And I think there
explanation.
has to be some fairness too when somebody
Mhm.
finds out
Mhm.
and the person is wanting to know information and the person who did it gets frustrated. Well, why do you want to know this? Why, dude, you've had this to deal
Mhm.
with for however long. I'm just finding out. So I want to know.
Mhm.
I
Mhm.
want to
Mhm.
know. And if you can't do that, then why are we talking? Why are we still connected? You know what I'm saying? Like,
Mhm.
go back to that chick.
Do you feel like that helps though? Like, do you feel
I
like
don't know.
knowing about the other person, like, do you feel like that helps or like that hurts? Like,
It literally boosts my self-esteem.
I feel you.
I'm asking for a whole another type of reasons. Like, oh, that's where she worked. That's what she looked like. That's what she do. Oh, pfft.
Girl, look,
You were out there playing with the peasants.
I had a whole opposite reaction though. Like when like the person who cheated on me, when I saw what the chick looked like, who she was, what she did, I was like, maybe it's her personality.
And
Maybe she
it
can like,
might be.
because like if you were to look at it superficially, which I feel bad for doing that, but I was young, y'all. But it's like if I like comparing us superficially, dog, like I it wasn't computing. Like my brain was like short, because I was like,
how do you put me and that person in the same? Yeah.
Right. And see, men I've talked to about this tell me that 9 times out of 10, the woman that a dude cheats on you with is not going to be as attractive as you. It's almost like low-hanging fruit, because it's like whatever need needed to be met, they're going to reach for the low-hanging fruit. But why it is that they're hiding the dalliance, right, is because they don't want to lose what it is that they got. But that's to me where I'm just like, that mindset to me doesn't make any sense. You know what I'm saying? Because I know there's a lot of people out there who say that people can't be monogamous. Like humans aren't supposed to be monogamous, even though there's scientific research that begs to differ, but that's neither here nor there. People be trying to talk about Neanderthals and Cro-Magnons and things, talking about like, oh, whatever. Anyway, you know what I'm saying? But it's like, thinking about it in that mindset, it's like, if you're with one person, or you feel like you can't be with that one person, I just feel like that's something that has to be outlined. It's like, yes, I love you. Yes, I want to be with you. Yes, I want to be married to you until we die. But sometimes I'm going to fuck some bitches in between. Like, just say that.
Just say it.
Just say that. Why you ain't just say that? You know what I'm saying? As opposed to, the hiding and stuff, because like how you said with your situation, the guilt that builds up and you feel like you have to confess. But it's like, are you thinking about this empathetically? Like, you confessing, like, yes, you're being honest, but if you killed my dog, right? And it's like, and we're sitting here looking for Fido, and you're helping me look for Fido, and then you tell me like a year later, like, hey, by the way, I killed your dog.
It was me.
It was killing me on the inside. It's like, what do you think was better for me, to know that you killed my dog and watched me look for it and cry over my dog? You know what I mean? Like, do you think that you're really giving me a gift there? You know what I mean?
And that's weird, because some dudes think that. I was on a break with from one of a previous
You did the eyebrow,
connection,
y'all.
and yeah, we were on a break. It was an 8-month break, and he engaged in interaction with other people with I don't know how long, how many. And I was ticked off. I asked him, and he said, yeah, I did. And I was upset. And my brother was like, oh, but he told you and he didn't have to. And when a guy tells you and he does not have to, that means something. That's love. And I'm like, but is it?
I mean, I guess. I mean, I've heard that before.
Is it?
It's like, at least you were honest.
Do I mean, like,
no. I've had dudes tell me that, which is something that sticks in my mind, because I got an older brother. You know what I'm saying? I got a daddy, and things that I have heard consistently is, whenever a man is not with you, don't ever think for a second that he's not with someone else. Because if he's not entertaining you, if he's not talking to you, then he's entertaining or talking to someone else. And that goes back to like the needs of dudes, allegedly. It's like a guy, like how women can, and there's some dudes who don't believe this, but whatever. But like how we can easily take a step back and like not fuck anyone for like a year.
Yeah.
2 years, 3 years, easily.
Yep.
Because it's like our heart's been so broken that we want to protect our sanity. We want to protect ourselves so we can take a step back fully. And it's not even about a physical thing. It's like, yeah, you have urges, but it's like, do I want to fulfill an urge at the risk of like losing my sanity? No.
Right.
Opening up myself to another person that's going to violate me? Absolutely not.
Get a really good shower head.
Right. Thank girl. Look, if y'all need a recommendation, I have one. That's not.
I'm just saying.
Amen. Jesus. I'm just saying.
No, all those urges will be. You're good.
Amen. I'm just saying. It's you say it in the comments, I'll send y'all the link, but that's not over there. But anyway, but they say with dudes, dude, it's like a common thing for dudes. So it's like whether a guy's just getting out of a divorce and trying to shake back, just getting out of a breakup, trying to shake back, it's like they're either going to go to old veg that they know is always available. They're going to go to easy veg that's available. But it's like, just like, like how we talked about last week with Twin Flames. If someone's ghosting you, it's like a dude is smashing somehow. Like he's not just abstinent over here in the corner meditating, like a lot of women will do a lot of times, is what dudes consistently tell me. And I mean, dudes, if you don't agree with that, then say something in the comments. Come on the show. You know what I'm saying? We would like to know, because we're going to continue this conversation. I'm just saying, we're going to continue this conversation with some men's.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
Maybe some cheating men.
Right. Because I need to, oh my gosh. Can we just do an episode called
The
Confessions
Cheaters
of a Cheater? Diary of a Real Black Cheater?
I would tune in.
Reference. I would, oh my gosh, we're going to send out a casting call. Are you a cheater? Do you like
talk about it?
You like cheating on your girlfriends? Want to talk about it?
Do you want to disclose on the show?
Right. Dude, I really think we need to do that, because I would love to hear from a cheater. I would love to hear from like a cheater who regrets cheating and a cheater who's like proud of cheating. And even if he's proud of cheating, if he wants to be anonymous, like if we got to find a way to black him out and change his voice, child, I will do it. You understand me?
We can do it.
Because I would love to do that. Like, I would love to get that mindset, like from those two sides. Like, God, girl, look,
and can you actually change? Like,
yeah, I would like to see someone who's actually changed and a person who absolutely does not want to change. And then I would want to see someone as well, like a guy that has changed and like a guy who wanted to, but somehow couldn't. And I would want to know what your somehow could not was. Like, is your penis possessed, sir? Does it have a mind? Does it wake you up in the middle of the night and say, look, little bitch, you get up and you call that thought. You call that thought right now. You know, like,
possessed by the devil in the pants.
I need to know what it is. I need to know. Mm-hmm. But I think, yeah, dude, this is going to be a continuation, because, you know, our episode last week with the truth about twin flames, there's a lot of people who are messaging me that wanted us to make it into an entire series.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Because when we said at the end, it was just like, yeah, you know, this could be like a whole series. Like if we went and
we really did say that.
Yeah. And people were like, will you guys make it a series? And I was like, y'all really fooling with twin flames like that? But I mean, hey, I'm here for it. But I mean, I feel
we got stories for days.
Look, we got buku of them, you know what I'm saying? So I mean, that may be a little something we incorporate. But I think a lot of, like, especially with this cheating thing, this is something that intertwines in for all of my little twin flame people out there. This is something that totally intertwines into that, because these are things that you want to know. Like, I mean, if you're a divine feminine and your divine masculine has been cheating on you with his wife, you know, you would, am I being too facetious? I'm sorry. You would want to know how to, you know, work through that when he comes back. Yeah, into union. You know what I'm saying? It's like, how you just gone, so you just smashing your wife is what you're doing now. You know,
sleeping with the wife every night,
next you was cuddling. Y'all got the matching
and pajamas. Kids and babies,
all of them matching pajamas, matching Halloween costume. The audacity. I'm gonna stop being facetious, but nah, man, but legit. If you're listening to this and you are anyone in that category, you know anyone in that category, definitely either comment below or, you know, shoot us a DM. All of our social media stuff is below. And of course, we're going to do it again, you know, for the gram. Mimi, you want to share where it is so they can find you on the gram?
On the gram, I'm on the gram at the Looking Glass Podcast, and also Facebook and YouTube. No way I signed up for this, because there's no way.
There's no way.
No way I signed up for this.
You know what I'm saying? And y'all know y'all can find me everywhere. You can Google The Woke Therapist. You can find me on IG at The Woke Therapist. You can find me on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, all the things at The Woke Therapist. You know what I'm saying? If you're looking for your girl. And of course, you know, I got 3 channels on YouTube. It's Tarot Therapy by The Woke Therapist, Marlowe, which is where you're watching this if you're not listening to it on another podcast platform. And I have She Do Tarot, which is all of my love readings. So go subscribe, you know, like, share, subscribe. Hey guys, it's your girl Marlowe here. Like, share, subscribe.
Do it.
Smash that like button. Smash it. I had to be an asshole really quick. It's just disgusting. But anyway, but we still don't know how to say bye. You know, we could silently wave. I think that would be less awkward. So until we figure out, because this is the first time you guys get to see us, you know what I mean? So we're still trying to figure out how to say bye. Listeners, we need you to tell us, how do we need to sign off? Okay. So until then, we're just going to awkward wave. All right.